Hey, I'm here with Donna Hertel, and we're going to discuss a little bit today about, buying a home when you own a dog. For many of us, what makes a home is who we share it with, including our pets. And when searching for a new home, it's important to consider not only your wants and needs, but the needs of your furry friends too, like George right here. If you're a pet parent, here are a few things to keep in mind during your home search to help you find a place that's perfect for both you and your fur kids, like Bebe and George right here. 67% of American households own at least one kind of pet, which amounts to almost 85 million households nationwide. Did you know that?
It's a lot. That's awesome.
It is a lot. So pet ownership is becoming more common. But what does it have to do with real estate?
It has everything to do with real estate.
As pet ownership rises, so does the demand for homes with pet-friendly features. According to the National Association of Realtors, 43% of pet owners would be willing to move to better accommodate their pets. And I assume you get some people that's the case?
I do. And I'm so happy to help them because that tells me that they are a really responsible pet owner and that they're looking out for the best interest of their pets and an awesome home for all of them.
And we're here with the DLD. Donna loves dogs. So this is super important for her. One of the things I know that's important is fencing in the backyard, right?
Right. The one thing that I do whenever I'm showing a house to a potential buyer and we go out in the backyard, I automatically scan the fence line, see what kind of condition it's in. Are there any planks that are loose or even missing? It's really important. And then when I see that, George's drool, I go over it with my buyer, make sure they see it as well, and see what they think about it. And if they end up putting an offer in on that house and we get into escrow, then we can negotiate the fence being fixed and having the seller pay for it.
And that's super important to have a realtor who loves dogs just like you that's going to advocate for you during that transaction. Of course, we know you're out there looking at homes, and when you find that home that lights your eyes up, that gets you excited, right? You're probably not going to let the fence hold you up from buying it, but you do need a good advocate for you to point out the things that are important to you during that transaction. And that's what the DLD does right here. Some other things I see here to look out for is trails and sidewalks.
Trails and sidewalks are really important because all animals, whether they're big or small, they all need to be walked. And you want to make sure that the trails and the sidewalks are safe and that there's plenty around. And that also includes dog parks. If you take your dogs to the dog park to play with other ones, how far away are they? Are they close enough for you? And other dog regular parks where people are at as well. How far away are those? You just want to make sure that everything is around you, and you've got your home, and then you've got the whole surroundings to think about. It's really important. And I also always recommend to my clients, drive around the neighborhood. Before I meet you to show you the house, drive around the neighborhood a little bit and see what you think. Because it's not just the house that you need to fall in love with, it's also the neighborhood.
Right? Is it also important sometimes to be aware of who you have as neighbors, especially when we're talking about pet neighbors?
Yeah, it's really important. And honestly, once you get into escrow, you can also go to the house different times during the day to see are there barking dogs in the next, over the next fence. That's really important because if there's aggressive dogs that bark a lot, it just kind of makes life unsettling, you could say. And so you just want to make sure about these things to think about for sure.
If you have unfriendly dogs next door, it might affect how much you really love living in that home. So definite things to consider. Proximity to dog parks. You might want to see how it is in regards to veterinarians in the area or proximity to your existing vet.
Yeah,
Right.
The veterinarian offices are really important. Not just the regular one that you go to, but also the emergency clinic. Where's the closest emergency clinic? Because unfortunately things do happen. And you need to be able to get your dog there as quickly as possible.
Yep. And then if you go on vacation a lot, you might want to consider what doggy daycares are in the area and make sure you've got a close proximity to that. let's talk a little bit about going inside the home, right? For when you have nice big furry pet animals like George here, sometimes carpet is, my experience is carpet can harbor odors. It's not as easy to clean, especially if they make a little accent or a boo-boo. And so I'm reading here that like luxury vinyl plank flooring would be good, or maybe some type of tile. What's your thoughts on that, Donna?
Well, bamboo can also be really sturdy flooring. Sometimes it can be a little slippery though, so you want to make sure, especially if you have a senior dog, or one that's going to be becoming a senior dog, you want to make sure that there are the least amount of slippery places as possible. If you're absolutely in love with the house and you have a slippery floor, think about area rugs. Even like the hall runners can work really well. Oh, and then also there's the tile. There is tile, I call it slip knot because of the paint that you can also use like out in the patios. That makes it real tough for the dogs to slip on. And they do make tile nowadays that it's a little bit rougher. Not too rough, not on your feet or anything, but just enough to where when the dog comes running in the house and it's been walking through water, it's not going to go sliding through, which can also create medical problems, unfortunately.
Have you actually had that happen where you had a big dog like George here slip on the tile?
I have, yeah. And there are things called torn cruciates, and they are thousands of dollars to have them fixed, and that they can also create other issues as well. So it's tough. These area rugs, huge. I have them all over my house.
So something definitely to consider when you're looking at homes would be the flooring. And then in addition, if you have furry pets with the DLD here, and I guess stairs, if you have an older pet, what about stairs?
Well, that's something that I kind of try and not recommend, especially when you have older animals or even dogs in general, because they are going to age, they are going to get older. And usually if you're already a dog person and you have a dog, maybe you just haven't thought about that. And then when I mention it, then they understand, okay, yeah, this is really something to consider. Hi, George.
Yeah.
And the stairs can be an issue. There's also, if there's like a few steps to go in or out of the house, you can also have a ramp there.
Those are pretty easy to do. Yes.
If you have, several dogs, you'll want to make sure you look at that square footage so that you're not crowding, everyone out, because that can create problems. And you want to make sure that the backyard is large enough for them to run out and play, plenty of grass for them to go to the bathroom on, and just so many things to consider.
Yep.
And that's one thing, whenever I'm walking through a house with a client, we look for these things. And I usually go in after my client just so I can kind of look around on my own and see what I see as far as, how are the pets going to fare?
Already found the home of your dreams? Go with the DLD. Donna loves dogs. She shows George all the time. He's a, what?
Grand champion show dog.
He's a grand champion show dog. So, that's my new nickname. I call Donna the DLD. Donna loves dogs. You want to get down? Get down with the DLD. I want to get, oh wait a minute, I didn't mean to go there. She's married and I'm just playing with y'all. Get down with the DLD. Donna loves dogs.